Hello, my name is Mariana, and today this is a collective reading for this moment post-solar eclipse, but also in a phase where Mercury is retrograde, Chiron was in conjunction with the solar eclipse. We are getting ready for the conjunction for Uranus and Jupiter. In fact, that is exactly what is going up. It's going to show up in the reading here. And just so you know, I haven't vanished. I haven't been active here with the readings simply because I felt like both the lunar eclipse in Libra and this solar eclipse in Aries, both of them have been very intense for me personally. And since the Mercury retrograde, it's almost like I have been guided to listen more than talk. And it's interesting because I have been talking a lot. I have been on the offline world. I have been asked to perform or to not that I've been asked by others, but it's almost like my higher self has been guiding me to host these gatherings and give classes and be with people and translate what I have been receiving, because I have been listening a lot. I have been receiving a lot. Not through the cards particularly, because I haven't been doing the readings lately. And it's interesting because it's almost like uh, I have been guided to prepare myself for kind of like this adjustment of my own channel in terms of how I receive messages. And it's almost like this attunement, right, with Mercury retrograde, dealing with this adjustment of our channels of communication and how we receive, how we listen, and how we speak, how we translate. I've been feeling like this has been happening for me in a very personal way, but also in a very intense way. Not just listening to the things that are appropriate, that are enriching, that are, this very profound and pure guidance that I know how it sounds like. I've been also listening to stuff that I'd rather not have to listen to. And this has been consuming my energy a lot. It's all personal issues, so there's nothing to be worried about. I am dealing with this with my family, with the people involved. But it's been consuming, and it feels like this adjustment of my hearing, of my clear audience, or clear, is that how you say it? It's like how I choose to turn the volume up or turn the volume down. And maybe this has been affecting the ability that I feel like, this channel, my own channel, needs to be clear in order for me to see the messages clear. So it's all been convoluted. Maybe that's the reason why I couldn't also record a reading for the lunar eclipse, and I couldn't record the solar eclipse either. But here is a message for the collective. And because it's a collective reading, I know that the last one that I recorded was intended for Pisces, but ended up being a collective with just the tarot cards. But because now this is being, an intended collective reading for this post-eclipse moment, I'm doing it with my combined deck of tarot cards and astrological oracle cards. In fact, we are beginning with a card from the astrological oracle deck, which, by the way, it's talking not just about the intensity of this moment, right, that we have all felt, I believe, or at least witnessed some sort of strange phenomena or weird, bizarre things, intense, speedy things happening. This is nothing compared to what is to come. This is what the message from the very first card here is talking about. We have Uranus, and Uranus is one of the protagonists of the conjunction that is going to come up on the 20th of April between 20 the 20th or the 21st, depending on where you are in the world. But it's almost like there is this um it's like there is this message that is related to change, right? Uranus talks about radical change, revolutions that are coming up. So the conjunction with Jupiter on the 20th seems to be the great crescendo of what is now starting with the eclipse, right? Or have been starting with, since the first eclipse that we saw with the lunar eclipse, even though the lunar eclipse was a more almost like dealing with endings and closing chapters because it was in conjunction with the South Node. This one, the solar eclipse in Aries that happened on the 8th, happened in conjunction with the North Node and Chiron. So healing in terms of, not just our inner wounds, right? But also like this new territory, like this fear perhaps of newness and discovering the unknown, right? It's like this is all about to change, right? Maybe the fear of the unknown is about to change. Maybe the fear of greatness because of Jupiter, right? The conjunction between Uranus and Jupiter in Taurus in a very tangible way, right? So what is happening right now is nothing compared to what is about to come with the conjunction that we're going to see on the 20th. This is the message of this very first card. But the other thing that I was seeing here was kind of like a hangman type of vibe, because I was seeing this as, a person that is being placed upside down, hanging by a thread, right? It's almost like there's something that is holding on the edges, right? It's almost like this is kind of like this precipice or like this abyss, and there is something that is holding us in this hangman position. So it's almost like between now, as I'm recording this, and the 20th, right? So it's about 10 days from now to then. It's like there is this phase of waiting, even though there is a bunch of things that we are already feeling. Like it's new, it's completely, unknown, right? It's this unknown factor that is completely like it's this big question mark. And we've been uh it's almost like we've been told in a sense to wait for this event. It's almost like wait and see, right? Wait and see what the 20th, what this conjunction between Jupiter and Uranus and Taurus is going to bring, because it's almost like this is going to make visible the changes that are already happening. But because it's just a new moon, yes, a potent new moon because it's a solar eclipse, but it's almost like it's hard to perceive what the impacts are going to be, what the effects are going to be, right? And here, with this Page of Cups coming next, this is interesting because it's almost like we're oblivious, right? It's almost like we're a child in the middle of this. It's almost like, I don't know if you've had that sensation, but it's exactly what I felt with this card. As a kid, I remember that I would listen to my parent and their friends talking in a conversation where I didn't know exactly what they were saying, but I couldn't make sense of how it's like how complex they were or how complicated, to be honest, they were. It's almost like I wish I could understand. So, because it's almost like in my heart, I could read them or I could understand maybe their body language or something like that. You know, just as a side note here, just so you understand why this is coming through and why this is relevant. Since I was a kid, I remember that I preferred to talk to older people. So, I would end up talking to my parents' friends instead of my friends. And I would engage in their conversation in a much more natural way than talking about games or toys or whatever, right? They didn't really interest me. So that's the reason why this image of, being a kid and having that memory come back to me, in a sense that it's almost like as a kid, my pure heart could notice the core of the issue or the thing that was causing the commotion, the the reason why they were arguing, or they, it's almost like I could read them beyond what they were saying, right? I could feel what was going on. And so I wish I had maybe more maturity. It's almost like I wish I was older so that they would listen to me, right? And it's almost like maybe this is a conversation with what I'm going to say right now. It may seem very out there, but maybe some of you will relate to this, right? This is how we're feeling if we're being placed in this hanged position, right? In this hangman placement where we're being told to wait until like another event, another astrological event that is going to shake up things, right? And we can feel already that things are moving, that things are happening. Why do we have to wait? It's almost like that angst, that lack of understanding, right? It's like, why don't they listen to me? It's almost like, just like I was saying, like I was being guided to just listen, beyond sharing. It's almost like I would have to just listen, but it's almost like, okay, I am listening and I can feel what is going on. My pure heart can feel what is going on. Why don't you listen to me? Right? It's almost like this counter argument, because it's this conversation between our young pure hearts and our parents in the stars, right? So the card that is coming next is Sirius. That is also from the Astrological Oracle deck. So what this card is saying is that these are the grown-ups. These are the evolved ones. These are the ones with the brightest light, right? Sirius being the brightest star in the night sky. And the fact that they are here in this conversation with ourselves, it's almost like, why are we being told to wait for the next event? It's like, what is going on exactly? This is almost like this question, right? And the interesting thing is that this shining light, this bright light coming from Sirius, even though they are embodying this parent-like type of behavior or stance or authority position, they do want to guide us. That's the thing, right? Because it's almost like this North Star, right? The solar eclipse was in conjunction with the North Node. So the North Star, this guidance coming from, spirit, coming from our soul, coming from our ancient family, right? This relationship between our pure heart, so the thing that is most essential in us, and our original parents. You see what I mean? Our original family. It's also serving as a guiding light, but there is this it's like this mismatch, or like this lack of information, like this standstill mode, right? And so here, the message coming from the stars, or coming from this Sirius star, right? However you want to look at this, right? These beings, these parents, however you think of Sirius, or however you think of the stars, meaning the brightest star in the night sky. The Seven of Wands coming next, this message or this explanation, right? To not the confusion, or to the it's almost like, this child that knows what they know, but they're not being heard by their parents, maybe just because they're being judged by their age, is something like that, right? It's like this frustration. Really, it's not anger, because it's almost like there is no space for anger. It's more like, I don't understand, I don't see this, I don't understand what you're talking about. Why can't you listen to my frustration? Because I cannot see what you mean. Because the Seven of Wands is talking about the crowd, right? It's talking about the collective. It's almost like I'm seeing this as like the human collective, in a sense, right? They are addressing the human collective. That's the reason why this is a collective reading also. But it's like, it's almost like the brightest star is talking about the collective, and how do you stand out among the rest, right? Because if we think of the brightest star among the rest of the stars, it's like, it still can be seen, it still can be perceived, right? It's almost like, so the lesson here, or the guidance here from this Sirius star is, it's almost like, look at the crowds and realize how you can stand out, right? And it's almost like there is no way, because you're treating me like a kid. So how can I have the knowledge? How can I have this discernment? How can I have this maturity to stand out from the rest? It's almost like there is this sea of unconsciousness that is making everyone blind. And it's almost like the response is, I'm blind too, in a sense, right? Not literally, not exactly like that, but it's almost like, this is how you're treating me because I'm feeling things. I know that things are changing, but I don't understand what you're saying. I'm not picking up the signal, or if I am picking up the signal, right? It's like, this is your thought. If I am picking up the signal, why can I decipher this? Why can I stand out? Why can I understand what you mean by, being highlighted among others that are also blind, that are also perhaps incapable of seeing, right, what this bright, shiny star wants to tell, or wants to show, or wants us to understand. You see what I mean? It's almost like there is something mysterious that is being shown, that is being highlighted, but it's like the very bright light that this star is emanating. It's like, this is the message. It's almost like realize what I can do among this crowd of stars, among this collective of stars. It's like, it's almost like, that's the thing. It's almost like, if you came from us, right? If we are being the old parents, or the grumpy parents that are not being clear, or are not listening to you, it's almost like, look at us. You have come from us. So you can also shine as brightly as you can to stand out from the crowd. It's almost like that. It's like they're teaching by example, not exactly through words. That's the reason why they don't need to listen to you as well, right? Even though maybe we're all behaving as like, this young, childish person, right? Or consciousness, but very pure nonetheless, right? It's almost like the pure heart is still here. It's just that it needs to stand out from the rest, right? And we're not seeing how. It's like, because we're still here, we're still pretty much embedded in this group, especially when we are behaving as the others. And the thing about the other page, which is coming through as the Page of Wands, is that there is this desire to belong. It's so fascinating, because it's like, here there is this very clear feeling of something is not right, or I can sense that even though I cannot really pinpoint, or I cannot really translate word by word, I know that there is something moving, there is something shaking, there's something being shaken, there's something changing very radically, but I cannot see clearly. And it's almost like we are all looking to the sky in order for this guidance to be clearer. And it's almost like, okay, so look at this clarity, right? This brightest star, and pick up this lesson from the example, not through the guidance that is going to be sent as a message, as like this literal message, because it's being told here, and it's almost like it's pointing to the fact that you're not seeing, or we as a collective are not seeing, that we are all immersed in this sea of unconsciousness. And it's almost like we're feeding into this blindness because we want to belong, because we want to be a part of this, because we want to be accepted, right? It's almost like this is the second thought, right? The first thought is, why can't you listen to me? I am here feeling weird. Please just come here and listen to what I have to say, right? I know what is going on, or I know that there is something going on. It's like, just explain to me, right? Or just listen to my angst, to my desire to know, right? And part of this, or part of maybe the wisdom coming from these parents of the stars, parents, this Syrian collective that is coming through as a guiding light, is like they have the wisdom to see what we're not seeing. It's almost like they can see, they can shine a light in the thing that we are not seeing. This extreme desire, maybe this very innocent, right? Being the 2 pages, it's like, this very innocent desire to belong, to be a part of this family, be a part of this collective, be a part of humanity, right? It's like, feel like you belong to humanity. And so it's almost like, to belong, I need to be in the same collective, belong to the same collective unconsciousness. I need to be part of this blindness. I need to be part of this not knowing, not understanding, right? It's almost like this is maybe this is how they are shining a light. This is how Sirius is showing us what is causing the root of, the lack of answers, or the lack of this feeling of being heard, right? It's because it's almost like we're blinding ourselves unconsciously, right? But by keeping this as like this need to belong, need to be accepted, need to be seen, need to be a part of this group, right? There is desire. But the interesting thing also, what I just heard right now, is like, maybe this is also part of, after we understand why we're not seeing them, or why we're not seeing the message, is because we are part of this collective and we need to stand out. It's almost like we need to break free. We need to be singled out from a group. You see what I mean? So that we win over this lack of visibility, this lack of clarity, because the next card is clarity, right? It's like, once we are singled out, then we do have clarity, then we do have direction. But what I was going to say, coming from Sirius, it's almost like, at the same time that they are showing this, the reason why we are in this phase of not understanding and not knowing and not seeing, it's almost like that's the first part. The true gift, or the true guidance here, it's actually to really stand out. It's like, really break free. It's almost like these are 2 scenarios, right? If you are here wanting to belong here, right, wanting to be a part and not use your creativity, which is very particular, it's like it's very unique to you. It's like that is the very thing that makes you stand out, makes you see that you can be something else or somebody else, even when you don't belong, even when you are not a part of this group. You see what I mean? It's almost like this is the true guidance, is to use your creativity, and that is how you stand out, because that is what is going to give you this clarity, this truth, this direction, right? To me, this ace like represents this direction, right? It's like, so you're going to know where you need to go, but it's not here. It's like, if you want to stay here, if you think that what you really want is to belong here, it's like you're just going to stay in this realm of unconsciousness and blindness, right? And not understanding, not seeing, not being heard, or not feeling like you're being heard, because you're just moving with this collective. But if you want to be heard, or if you want to speak up, it's almost like that, right? Because the Ace of Swords also talks about communication. And, in this case, it's like, it's not just like this clear communication. It's not like being this clear channel as well. It's like you need to single out yourself. You need to separate yourself. And I got chills all over my body. It's almost like you're everything in you, maybe because of this innocent perception that you're too fragile or too vulnerable if you are alone. It's almost like a child wanting to what is the word? It's like emancipate. Is that how you say it in English? In Portuguese, it's emancipar. I don't know exactly, it's like if that's the proper way to say it. It's almost like when a minor child, like, you know, somebody that is under 18 or under 16, maybe in some countries, it's like they are becoming independent. It's like they need to prove their capacity to be an independent being apart from their caretakers, apart from their parents. So it's almost like that. You need to emancipate yourself, right? It's like in order for you to be a clear channel, to be heard, and to listen to the guidance, or to be in communication based on this truth, is use your creativity to just stand out from the rest, to I say just separate from these others, right? So yeah, I hope that is clear. I know that it's been all over the place. There is the message from the event that it's still to come on the 20th. So that is part of it. It's almost like maybe until then, it's like use your creativity, right? And then it's like things are going to become much more clear. So I am going to pull more cards to see if there is anything that helps to clear the message here and to guide us even further. Also, I'm going to pull from the astrological runes in the extended reading. So if you want to join me there, I'll be very happy to see you. You can find the link down below. If not, I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.